Stone Squads? Fractions. This is actually an important topic that for some reason students struggle with. You always try to get away with it by not fully mastering it, but it is very important in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, all your math courses you're needed in high school. So let's kind of do a brief introduction to fractions. I'm going to focus on the 4 components, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. This is a good pre-assessment to know before you get into Algebra 1. So I strongly recommend you watching this video, try these problems, try your best and get familiar with how to work with fractions. Fractions should not make a problem more difficult. It should just make it, all you guys should be able to do fractions. So let's kind of go over this. So I'm going to start with the ones that we're pretty good with. Multiplying, dividing. I'm going to start with these guys. When you multiply fractions, you are just multiplying straight across. So you multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators. You can cancel top and bottom, that's more of a division problem. So division, we're going to do KFC, keep, flip, change. What that means is you're going to keep the numerator, you're going to flip, or in math terms, reciprocate your denominator, and we're going to change our division sign to a multiplication sign. And then after that, it becomes a multiplication problem. So let's take a quick example. If you have 2/3 times 4/5, right? It's a multiplication problem. Multiplication is probably the easiest fraction type problems. You just multiply across. So you're just going to multiply across, multiply across. I like to kind of put a line under there. To connect it, because you can technically do that. So you just multiply across, you get 8 over 15. Simplify if needed. You can tell when you can simplify when you can cancel top and bottom. So for example, if you had 2/3 times 1/2, you can cross cancel. So right here, if I combine this, you can change it to a problem like that. A lot of kids think that they can only cancel top and bottom vertically, but you can cancel diagonally as well. As long as one's in the numerator, one's in the denominator, you can cancel all you want. So that can actually cancel out the 2's. You can divide it by that, so you have 1/3. Okay, division, keep, flip, change, KFC, just remember that. If you have 2/3 divided by 4/5, right? KFC, keep the numerator, reciprocate or flip the denominator. So instead of 4/5, it's going to be 5/4. And instead of a division, we're going to change it. Instead of division, it'll be a multiplication. From here, it becomes a multiplication problem. So all we simply have to do is multiply across. So you can do 2 times 5 and 3 times 4. Or if we can cancel, I would try to reduce it first. So this 2 and this 4, you can cancel out there. So at the end, you have 5 over 6. Okay, so that's multiplying, division. The trickier ones are going to be add and subtract. Doesn't matter if you're adding or if you're subtracting. Your first step for adding and subtracting, you need to get a common denominator. You have to get a common denominator. That's important because think of like visually, if you think of slices. If one has a bigger slice and the other has a smaller slice, you can't add those slices together. So our goal is to break up those slices into other parts so then we get common denominators. So let's talk about common denominators. How do we do that? Well, if you have 1/2 plus 1/3, 2 and 3, what is my common denominator? In other words, what do they both can multiply to? So 2 and 3, well 2 and 3 is going to be 6. Alright, so the rule is, the trick is, if none of them are divisible by each other, you just multiply them across. So 2 times 3 is 6. From here, we have to manipulate the fraction. So it used to be a denominator of 2, but I wanted a denominator of 6. You have to multiply this by 3. So you have to multiply top by 3. The reason why we do that, what is 3 divided by 3? It's 1. So we're not changing the problem, we're just making it look different. So here we get 3. What do you have to multiply 3 to get 6? You multiply by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So then 2 times 1 is 2. So at the end of the day, we get 5/6. Subtraction works the same way. It's just we're going to subtract versus add. But you ultimately do need to get a common denominator. So let's kind of go over those rules. If your denominator is factors of each other, then what's my common denominator 2 and 4? Well, the common denominator is going to be 4 because 2, essentially what you're doing is 4, you can say it's 2 times 2. So they share this 2 already and we just need another times 2. So 4 is our biggest, our common denominator. So all you have to do is multiply here by 2. Here we have 4, so we already have it. I don't have to do anything, so just going to keep it the same. If the denominators they don't have common factors, so like 1/3 and 1/4, obviously 3 is not a factor of 4, 4 is not a factor of 3, all we have to do is multiply them together. I need the 3, I need the 4, so just multiply those guys together. That's your new common denominator. So then you'll have to multiply this by 4, and you'll have to multiply this by 3, top and bottom, to balance it out. Alright, so that concludes our lesson with fractions. It's very important. I would strongly recommend you master fractions so it doesn't become a challenge when you go into class and all of a sudden, a difficult problem is because it's a fraction. Or that you couldn't do a problem because there's fractions. Don't be afraid of it. Make sure you guys understand it. Alright, let's get ready for our 3 examples, our beginner, intermediate, and our advanced level. Good job. Alright. Fractions, let's try 3 problems. Try your best. Let's take a look. Your first problem, I want you to multiply 1/3 times 3 halves. 1/3 times 3 halves. You give you about 30 seconds to a minute. Try your best. Go. Alright, let's see what you got. Check your answer. Make sure you're right. Be real to yourself. What do you do when you multiply? Yes, you just multiply across. So then you just do 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 6. We do need to simplify. We always want to reduce our answers. So all of you guys are divisible by 3 to get 1/2. Alright, other kids will see the 3 on top, 3 on the bottom. They'll just cancel that out, and you're just left with 1/2. Whatever works for you. Stick with that method always. I would try to always reduce, because at the end of the day, even if you don't reduce it here, you're going to have to reduce at the end. So let's just cancel it now. It makes our multiplication a lot easier. Okay, let's try a division problem. Today's a little different. I know I said beginner, intermediate, advanced. I'm going to do 2 beginner problems first. So your other one is going to be 2/5 divided by 10/3. We're dividing. So what's that restaurant, fast food place we like to go to? Think of that. That's your hint. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute. Try your best. Go. Alright, KFC. Keep, flip, change. Keep the numerator, flip the denominator, and then instead of division, we're going to change it to a multiplication. Does anything cancel out? The 2 and the 10. So you can divide everything by 2. And then that's pretty much it. So you have 3 times 1, which is 3, 5 times 5, which is 25. So if I divide 2/5 by 10/3, you're getting 3/25. So check your answers for multiplying and dividing. And let's move on to our intermediate problem. Our intermediate problem is 1/3 minus 2/6. You can simplify this, but I kind of want you guys to practice getting common denominators. So if they are factors of one another, what do we do? How do we get common denominators? That's your hint. Try your best. 30 seconds. Go. Alright, let's take a look. What is my common denominator? Once you know that, everything else is pretty simple. 3 and 6, what they both need, they need a 6. They both go into 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. What do you have to multiply 3 to get 6? 2. So we have to balance that out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we have to balance that. So 2 times 1 is 2. Here, do I have to do anything? Nope. So then you just leave that. And then what do we get? 0/6. So my answer is simply 0. Alright, check your answers. Make sure you got the right answer. It's okay to get 0 as an answer. It doesn't mean you're wrong. And let's move on to our advanced problem. Our advanced problem. 5/6 minus 3/5. Get a common denominator. Works the same way. Try your best. It's okay if you get it wrong. Our goal is just to try it and then improve from there. Figure out where mistakes are and then fix those errors. So try your best. Don't give up. Go. Alright, so what's my common denominator? 6 and 5, they don't go into each other, so you just have to simply just multiply them. So 5 times 6 is what? 30. What do you have to multiply 6 to get 30? You have to multiply it by 5. So multiply the top by 5, so you get 25 there. What do you have to multiply 5 to get 30? You have to multiply by 6. Multiply 6 there. You get that. And that's my answer, so we just subtract. So we get 7. 7 over 30. Can we reduce that? No. So that's my final answer. So check to see if you got that. Review this. It's always good to review fractions. We tend to forget it. So review, add, subtract, multiply, division. That's what we talked about today. Let's kind of recap that. Multiply, just multiply straight across. Numerator, denominator. Division, KFC, keep, flip, change. Add and subtract, you need to get a common denominator and then balance it out so you can combine. Alright, so that concludes our lesson with fractions. Hope this video helped you. Please subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notifications. Let's get ready for some more fun videos.